October 18th, 1984, a then very young Michael Jordan hits the court in a forbidden black and red upper sneaker. The NBA says, no, we're not having that, and they issue a letter to Nike saying that the sneaker is banned. The execs at Nike and Jordan, they see an opportunity here to make millions and millions of dollars. The only problem is the sneaker that was banned is not going to be Michael Jordan's signature shoe. You know, let's stretch the truth a little bit. They start telling the story of the banned Air Jordan 1. So we've got a 1985 here. This is the shoe that they want you to think was banned. Fast forward to 2011, and again, the execs there, they say, hey, we've got a great idea. Let's make a banned Jordan 1 and put the X on it. We'll call it the banned. They're jumping up and down. There's a bunch of money, changing hands. But then they messed up this one detail. They put the wrong date, 10/18/1985, stamped into the sock liner. You had one job. Can you imagine when they figured that out? You know how many eyes that went through, how many hands, how many approvals? And you put the wrong year on that? They had no choice but to send them directly to the outlets. And they're now known as the B grade or the outlet Jordan 1s, the bands. They sell for a ton of money. 36 years later, here we are in 2020, and Nike and Jordan, they say, hey, we got to come clean about something. Remember that shoe we sold you countless times and the story we told you about being banned by the NBA? Might have made that up. So once they came clean, we now have the truly banned shoe, the 1984 Airship, and they've commemorated it, they've re-released it, and today we're going to review it. For those of you that are new, this is Vintage Kicks Gallery. Alright guys, I'm super pumped about this one. Waited a long time for these. They ship from Italy, and at the end of the day, this is a long overdue shoe. It's a long overdue story for them to tell the truth. So for those of you that don't know, MJO 23 Dan and Minute Maid Poppy, who's a bespoke sneaker creator, they've actually created this in the past. They did a damn good job at it too. So if you're not familiar with that story, go Google it, go on MJO 23 Dan's YouTube, you'll see it, but they actually recreated this exact shoe. Nike, well, they were a little late to the game, but we finally have their version. So let's just get straight into it. The box, awesome. We've got a PE inspired box. You've got the sample tag right here, and that mimics the sample tags, which if you haven't seen the first Airship, the New Beginnings Pack review, go back and watch that because I actually compared these tags to the original 1984. And then we've got the special, what does it say? Special Attention M Jordan. I think M stands for Michael. Other than that, we've got some homages to the original Jordan box with the swoosh TM and your regular size label. Now let's get into the box. First of all, it's an inverted Airship box. How dope is that? I love those details. I love that kind of stuff. This box hits hard. I don't care how you look at it. Next thing you're gonna see is the owner's manual. That's right, Nike's going back, giving us our vintage heads, this old heads, the stuff that we really, really want, and that is these old, their owner's manuals. These used to come with the shoe. So inside you get the cool diagram of the shoe and blah, blah, blah. Never gonna look at it again, but it's really cool to have. Once we get into it from here, we've got this is how the Airship paper was in the box, and that's how the old owner's manual was, obviously. So this is an homage to that. And we've got the orange box just as it was in the 1984 year when they sold the Airships. But this is what we're here for. That's right, they're actually here. It's kind of a surreal moment. So first thing you're gonna notice right off the bat is this lacing. And at first I wasn't quite sure about it, just like I'm sure, you know, many of you aren't right now. But then I did a little research and found out this is actually how Jordan had his laced. So, you know, I guess this lacing is gonna be here to stay. I kind of like that story. First impressions right off the bat is these things are really good quality, guys. Maybe not quite as high as the New Beginnings pair, and I'm being super critical on them. But the only reason I say that is the leather appears to be slightly thinner cut than the New Beginnings, and you know, it's just not quite as grainy. But that being said, it's a completely different type of leather. This is dyed, you know, there's no paint on top of here, and you can really catch the grain in the raking light. This is actual leather, guys. This is not the stuff that they're telling us is leather now. You know, they have a little theme of some fibs or stretching of the truth going on with Jordan and Nike, but that's for another discussion. Right off the bat, you can just tell that this thing means business, and it's the most iconic colorway, probably, I mean, you can maybe say Chicago, but the most iconic colorway in the history of sneakers. To be honest, guys, every part of this shoe moves me in some way. And what I mean by that is we've waited forever for this. This is a legend, this is a myth, and Nike finally addressed this and gave this to us. And I love that, I really, really do. So let's talk some details on this. Leather, like I said, amazing quality. You've got, just like the New Beginnings pack, this 4-foot stabilizer, which is this area here. It's not stitched down, so I'm curious if anybody relaces them and has that flapping around. Might look kind of cool. You've got this really exaggerated check, which is amazing. You know, that's real leather on this. On the OGs, it probably was vinyl if I had to guess. And then you've got Air Jordan on the back instead of Nike Air. And this is actually how it should be, guys. So, you know, at first I was looking at it, I was like, is that supposed to be Nike Air? But no, Air Jordan, they got it right. The sole, check it out. So this is not your traditional Airship sole. This is a sole that was made, you know, specifically for this back then. But this one here has been updated with React technology. So it's actually gonna be comfortable. I know a lot of the OG heads are probably like, why the hell did they do that? You know, but if you're gonna wear them, I love that. I love that this is kind of a hybrid at that point. But part of me doesn't like this altogether. They just, I don't know. You know, they say never meet your heroes. This is kind of like that for me for these. I'm looking at them and I'm seeing everything that I would do different. Number one, what really bugs me is the cuts of this leather. Although you can see the grain and the texture of the rough cut and everything, it's dyed all the way through. And on the original pairs, that would be really raw and you'd be able to see that contrast. Part of me wants to sand these edges and see how it looks. I think it would look incredibly dope. The other thing I really wish that these had was a cream sole, you know, an oxidized sole. I just think these are begging for an aged treatment. I don't work for Jordan, I don't work for Nike, so I'm sure they know what they're doing with designs, but that's just how I would have done it. I've given this so much thought that I'm actually tempted to do this to my pair. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if I'm crazy or not. But let's talk about something that is crazy, and that's the way this shoe was released. So on August 7th, 2020, Nike released these through Backdoor Bottega in Italy. Yeah. So basically, that was it. They had a shock drop on Sneakers EU, but I don't know about you. I don't live there. I had zero chance of buying this shoe. In fact, the vast majority of people that I know that really wanted this shoe never even got the chance to purchase it. And that's just not right, guys. It really isn't. I started to think, why would Nike do this? Why would Jordan do this? And the only thing I can really come up with is they wanted to keep this thing pretty much a legend still. They wanted to keep it a poster sneaker, so to say. And the only way they were gonna do that was really limiting the release. So this was definitely something that I think had it released in the United States, maybe there would have been a little bit more hype and talk about it, but this flew completely under the radar. And really the only people that are gonna care about this are the OG heads, the vintage guys, the ones that really care about the history. So I see what Nike's doing, what Jordan did with it, but I don't really agree with it. That's just being honest. So let's talk about everything that is great about this. I've already talked about the leather, we've got the high tongue, we've got the inside that they went back to the sock liner stamp, which I really think is dope. That's the way they did it in the 80s. Actually, you know, they did that for a while, but on the insole, we have the sample tag mocked up just like the New Beginnings pair, which is really cool. I like that little detail. Not sure if these are board lasted or not. I'm hoping they are not because of the React. If they are board lasted, we won't even be able to benefit, but I'm really looking forward to wearing these. I think we can all agree this is a shoe that's going to look better and better the more you beat it and the more you wear it. Now, let's talk about a little bit more negative, and that is the resale price. Guys, these things were so limited and still they fell into the hands of resellers. So if you look on StockX, you look on eBay, it is flooded with sales, flooded with listings, you know. Nike, these definitely didn't go into the right hands. Resale prices are a little bit obscene for them too. We're talking $500 at the very lowest for odd sizes, up to $1,000 for your more sought after sizes. And guys, at $1,000, I'm just gonna keep it real with you. This is not worth it. That is a lot of money to spend on a sneaker. And I hate that a lot of you are in that situation where you've dreamed about this sneaker for forever. And it's been this legend, this myth. You finally have one chance to buy it and there's that prices. So I think if you're actually in the market for a pair of these and you actually want to spend that money, go for the better quality and contact Minute Maid Poppy. Get one of his pairs. Because although they're bespoke, they're handmade and everything, the quality is just gonna be unreal compared to these factory, you know, these are made in Vietnam. Another weird thing, the box says made in China, the stamp in here says Vietnam. I don't know what's up with that, but I would have liked to have seen, I mean, ideally Korea, but I would have liked to have seen that match. So other than that, guys, I mean, they're really good. I mean, that's all I can say. All the gripe and the complaints aside from the little stuff, I mean, I'm insane. Don't listen to me with that. It's a really cool shoe, but Nike, release it in the United States. Please. All right, guys, that's gonna do it. I'll see you next time.
I know you like that. Yeah. Yo, call me A Forte, aka your Padre, smooth as a criminal, rolling down your highway. NYC Passe, you know how I be though. Gotta help myself so I can help the people. Abstract beach bum, straight out of Cleveland. Girls,